Hello, and thank you for standing by. Welcome to MongoDB Leadership Transition Conference Call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. After the speaker's presentation, there will be a question-and-answer session. To ask a question during the session, you will need to press star 11 on your telephone. You would then hear an automatic message advising your hand is raised. To withdraw your question, please press star 11 again. I would now like to hand the conference over to Jess Lubert, Vice President of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Operator. Good morning, and thank you for joining us to discuss the MongoDB leadership transition outlined in the press release published earlier today. Joining me today will be Dev Ittycheria, MongoDB's current President and CEO, and CJ Desai, MongoDB's incoming President and CEO. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements, including statements related to our market and future growth opportunities. These statements are subject to a variety of risks and uncertainties, including the results of operations and financial conditions that could cause actual results to differ materially from our expectations. For a discussion of material risks and uncertainties that could affect our actual results, please refer to the risks described in our quarterly report on Form 10-Q for the quarter ended July 31st, 2025, filed with the SEC on August 27th, 2025. Any forward-looking statements made on this call reflect our views only as of today, and we undertake no obligation to update them except as required by law. There will be a question-and-answer section following our prepared remarks. Please be advised that the purpose of this call is to discuss the leadership transition. We will not field any questions related to our financial results or the announcement in today's press release that we expect to exceed the high end of our FQ3 guidance ranges. We plan to address these questions on our Monday, December 1st earnings conference call. With that, I'd like to turn the call over to Dev.
Thank you, Jess, and good morning, everyone. As you've seen in the press release published earlier today, after a great deal of reflection, I've made the decision to retire as President and CEO of MongoDB. Over the past 11 years, this role has required deep focus and commitment, which often meant putting other parts of my life on hold. I'm eager to be more present for those moments, from everyday time with my family and friends to experiences and ventures we've postponed for far too long. This was not an easy choice. MongoDB has been my professional home for more than a decade, and it's been one of the greatest honors of my career to lead such an exceptional team and company. When I joined MongoDB in 2014, the company had a bold vision to disrupt the database industry with a document model that empowered developers to build modern applications faster and more easily than ever before. That vision wasn't just about better technology. It was about unlocking innovation for customers. Today, nearly 60,000 customers around the world trust MongoDB to power some of their most critical applications. What started as an ambitious idea has become a global business, scaling from roughly 35 million to more than 2.3 billion in analyzed revenue. This success was achieved through relentless innovation, discipline, and teamwork, which has not only transformed MongoDB into a global software leader with a strong track record, but also laid the foundation for the company to win in the AI era. As I look to the future, I'm confident that now is the right time for a new leadership to take MongoDB into the next phase of growth. The business has strong momentum and has the foundation in place to achieve meaningful scale in the years ahead. That's why I couldn't be more thrilled to welcome CJ Desai as our next President and CEO. CJ was selected following an extensive search by the board and an executive search firm due to his remarkable track record of delivering growth at scale, most recently at Cloudflare and before that at ServiceNow. CJ maintains extensive product, engineering, and go-to-market strengths, and his experience driving enterprise AI adoption will be invaluable to MongoDB's next stage of growth. Importantly, CJ also shares many of the same values that define our culture here at MongoDB. I will be working closely with CJ over the coming months to ensure a smooth transition. I plan to remain on the board, where I'll continue to serve as an advisor and committed supporter of MongoDB. To our employees, customers, and shareholders, thank you. I'm immensely grateful to our customers for the partnership and trust, to the exceptional employees whose passion and ingenuity has built MongoDB into the company it is today, and to our investors for the enduring confidence in our vision. MongoDB's story has always been about the people who dream big and deliver even bigger, and I'm confident that our company's best days are still ahead.
Thank you, Dev. First, I want to say how honored and excited I am to be joining MongoDB. I have long admired what Dave and the team have accomplished, the strength of the business, the clarity of the mission, and the passion of the people here. I have been a customer and partner of MongoDB for a long time. MongoDB has long been the partner of choice for applications that transform businesses, and I believe the company is exceptionally positioned to power the next wave of AI applications. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege of helping companies scale, whether by driving innovation, operational rigor on the expansion of the customer base, or the go-to-market execution. What drew me to MongoDB is the incredible potential ahead in a large market. The company has built something truly special, and I believe we are just beginning to tap into what is possible. By staying relentlessly close to customers, delivering category-defining products and platforms, and executing at scale, I'm confident we can seize the enormous opportunities ahead. I'm eager to get started, to listen and learn from our employees and customers, and to build on the strong foundation that Dave and the team have created. Together, we'll focus on executing our strategy, driving durable and profitable growth, and delivering long-term value for all our stakeholders. I want to thank the board for their trust and confidence, and Dave for his partnership during the transition. I look forward to leading MongoDB in its next phase with energy, focus, and respect for everything that has been built here. With that, we'll open the call for questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder to ask the question, please press star 11 on your telephone, then wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw your question, please press star 11 again. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question comes from the line of Raimo Lenschow with Barclays. Your line is open.
Perfect. Dave, I'm going to miss you, and congrats again for this kind of great journey. 11 years there was, I still remember our first meetings at the IPO kickoff. And CJ, welcome back on my side on this side. The question I had, obviously, first of all, for Dave, we're in very interesting times with AI, and huge growth and applications are expected, etc. From your perspective, why was now the right time? Because it's kind of like the world is changing. Was that kind of the motivation? And that change would have taken a few years, or how should we think about that? Thank you.
Thanks, Raimo. And I do remember the first IPO prep session, so it's been a blast to work with you over these 8 years. In terms of timing, as I said, I've been CEO of this company for 11 years, 8 years as a public company, and it's all-consuming. It truly is a very intense job. And as I thought about what to do next, and as part of our succession planning process, the board asked me to consider staying on for another 5 years. It just became clear that after spending time discussing this with my family and the board, that it was time to make a change. There were just certain things I wanted to do that I just didn't have the chance to do. But I also want to be clear, I was not going to go anywhere without finding a suitable successor. And I'm so thrilled to find CJ. We frankly have spent a lot of time together over the last couple of months getting to know each other, CJ learning about the business. And I couldn't be thrilled about CJ taking on the role. I think he's well-suited. He's got rare growth at scale experience. There's not many people in the software industry who have taken a company a little over $1 billion in revenue and turned it into over $10 billion in revenue. He's also recently accelerated growth at Cloudflare, where that company is really executing well. And I think he can do the same here. And so I'm super excited by what CJ can do, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay on the board, and I'm also going to serve as advisor to CJ to help him ramp as quickly as possible.
Perfect. Thank you. Well done. All the best, CJ.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Alex Zukin with Wolfe Research. Your line is open.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the question, and a huge congratulations to both of you. Maybe this one for CJ, kind of similar to Raimo's question, but why, for you, what's the most exciting thing about the opportunity at Mongo? And if you look at your ability to kind of harness your enterprise go-to-market chops and your product strategy dimensions, where do you feel like there's a tremendous amount of opportunity to unlock in the story at the moment?
Thank you, Alex. Mongo participates in a very large growing market, and it has also a very clear architectural advantage to become part of the architecture from modern workload, including AI workloads perspective. So as Dave was answering Raimo's question, from my perspective, there are so many new workloads being defined, or there are so many workloads being changed to leverage AI, both whether it's a AI native company, whether it's a digital native company, or whether it's a large enterprise. So we have reached this inflection moment where Mongo can truly become the heart of this next phase of re-architecture that's going to happen in all of customer base across Fortune 500, Global 2000, and AI native companies and startups. So the potential is massive. Mongo's architecture was not force-fitted for AI workloads. It existed for AI workloads. And that's what really excites me, that we will continue to innovate, we'll scale the go-to-market in large enterprise, and the business has strong momentum this year, as we announced today. And then how can we accelerate that even further as we expand Mongo's reach all the way from developers who love us, and they love building on us. And, I have built on Mongo, and it's a great database. I started my career in the database industry, so I have a lot of appreciation for how it has been done in Mongo from an overall architecture perspective. And second, on the go-to-market aspect, the opportunity is still massive in the large corporations who are going to now redefine their workloads to leverage AI. Every single one is doing that, and we are just getting started, and it's on the beginning stages from my perspective on how to leverage truly AI, and Mongo is perfectly positioned.
Amazing. Couldn't be more excited for you guys.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Our next question comes from the line of Tyler Radke with Citi. Your line is open.
Yeah, good morning, and congrats to both of you, Dave. It's been a pleasure, and CJ, glad to see you turn up as CEO here. So CJ, I wanted to ask you, just as you think about how Mongo is positioned on the AI front. I mean, clearly there's been a lot of investor conversation around the Postgres technology, and I know Dave's probably sick of answering questions on that. Hopefully that's not why he's stepping down. But just given your perspective, you were at ServiceNow when ServiceNow acquired RaptorDB. I imagine you were involved in some of that process, which was a Postgres technology. So how do you sort of think about the limitations of Postgres and how Mongo can kind of further influence its role in these AI applications? Because it seems like you have a pretty unique perspective given the RaptorDB acquisition.
So, Tyler, great to hear from you. What I would say is, when I truly look at the technology of Mongo, and I've spent some time evaluating the recent innovations from Mongo on 8.0 and post 8.0 releases, what I would say is that this is the right database to build or modernize an application for AI. All the relational databases where I started my career, they tend to be very rigid, not flexible, and do not handle the unstructured data really well. When you think about AI applications of the future, it will still be both structured and unstructured data. As the business changes, the foundational models improve and all of that, Mongo would still be on the right side of that equation as many, many of our customers want to scale their application for AI workloads. That's what really excites me. In the past, yes, there was a reason why we chose Postgres a couple of jobs ago, and that was because we wanted to maintain the SQL aspect of it, and it was mainly structured data. Even there are AI native companies who are using Mongo to build applications, including some prominent AI companies that are leveraging Mongo today as they build applications on top of foundational model. Our job with the team is to continue to make sure that Mongo is top of their mind, in front of them, to understand the advantages of Mongo, to be flexible, scale out, and a great architecture on which they can continue to build on.
Terrific. Congrats to both of you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Please stand by for our next question. Our next question comes from the line of Kash Rangan with Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Hello, and congratulations, Dave, on a spectacular career. I think Ramo was talking to you about his MongoDB IPO experience. I will bring up the BladeLogic IPO experience, I think 2005, 2006. So it's been a pleasure working with you. You built a tremendous value over the years. Really appreciate it. And a big congratulations to the incoming CEO, CJ. Thank you so much. I realize that there's a lot more we're going to be learning over the next several quarters, so it's hard to ask you a strategy question and whatnot. But I would still ask you something, CJ, that as you look at the database landscape, it is being increasingly populated and crowded by the hyperscalers that are able to blend their incumbency with compute, be it Microsoft with their database, as a way to leverage their more vertically integrated relationship. And that probably applies to AWS, Google as well. So as you enter this new role, what are the things that you're going to be focused on to ensure that the thesis of MongoDB, which has been to be a cloud-neutral database, which is what Dave led with, do you see any changes, refinements to that approach, especially as the broader, again, hyperscalers and an AI compute-centric world are increasingly muscling their way with their databases, which are also NoSQL databases? Thank you so much, and look forward to the future.
Kash, great to hear from you, and thank you. From my perspective, really, Dave and the team nailed the cloud transition really well. Many database companies or enterprise software companies were not able to transition to, one, being cloud agnostic, and two, still work in multi-cloud environment. With Atlas, almost 8 years ago, they nailed that really well. And I think that advantage will continue to exist. When I speak to customers, most of them, and with the recent outages in multiple hyperscalers that literally happened 3 weeks ago, multi-cloud world is here to stay. And Mongo, with a cloud-agnostic architecture and how seamlessly it can work in a multi-cloud environment, is a competitive moat for MongoDB. So that's the first thing I would share. Second thing, even AI workloads, given that if you are running applications in multiple clouds, if it is compute-centric, maybe you are running it in AWS. If it's something else, you are running it in Google, where you want to leverage their security models. Whatever the case might be, for AI application, the same competitive moat will remain. And it is our job, from an innovation perspective, to stay in front of our customers' requirements and lead our way as they transition to AI workloads for years to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much, CJ, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Please stand by for our next question. Our next question comes from the line of Rishi Jaluria with RBC. Your line is open.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks so much for taking the question. Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you on this name. Really appreciated you navigating through all the kind of different environments, technological shifts, and really positioning MongoDB well for honestly the next decade. So, it's been an absolute pleasure. CJ, never had the pleasure of working with you, but obviously heard amazing things about you and your reputation precedes you. So very much looking forward to this. One question I did want to drill into is, and correct me if I read it wrong, but this morning, in an interview with CNBC, it sounds like CJ, you were talking about kind of the goal or aspiration of getting Mongo to be a $5 billion plus business and growing it profitably, and reaching that scale over time. I know obviously early to talk kind of about these long-term strategic roadmaps, but would love to kind of hear some color as you think about scaling MongoDB from where it is today to that sort of scale. What are kind of the building blocks in your mind and maybe some of the high strategic priorities over the next, call it, couple years to actually get to that sort of scale? And I'm sure obviously there's ambition going well beyond that over time, but would love to hear kind of, the thinking that informed that and what's really top of mind and most exciting for you. Thanks.
Thank you, Rishi, and very nice to be speaking to you and say hello to all the friends at RBC. What I would say is the potential in my opening remarks for Mongo, and that's what excited me, is still massive because this is the market I entered as my first job from a technology standpoint, and market has been around, as Dave has shared, for 50 plus years. And this particular architecture of MongoDB is the right architecture for 21st century workloads. So that's number one. Number two, when I think about the potential, the cloud adoption in the enterprises, customers, very large customers, all the way to Fortune 100, is still going on. As you have seen the recent numbers from Amazon, Microsoft, and Oracle and others, you see that the cloud adoption is still growing, and Mongo would definitely benefit from that. Number two, from a strategy perspective, AI is absolutely a tailwind for Mongo. As developers create these applications or customers and large organizations make a decision on what standard to use for AI application, Mongo has the right architecture to build that. And then when I think about geographies, spending time with the go-to-market leadership team recently, there is still a lot of potential that exists in many regions of the world where they are building new applications for AI. You could even take a country like India. You could take many cities where AI natives are still building applications and the developers want to use Mongo. So between large enterprise motion, certain geographies where Mongo is underpenetrated, and number three, a large market where we'll continue to have additional market share is what actually excites me, Rishi, on the path to 5 billion plus that we can drive MongoDB.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Mike Cikos with Needham. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks for taking the question, guys. And Dave, it's been an honor. CJ, looking forward to the continued partnership now. Very simply, and I appreciate the commentary we just got on the strategy you're looking to drive here, CJ. Would just love to get a sense, given the timing, there's been a lot of change in the last year. We have a new CFO on the seat with less than a year here. You coming in, obviously Dave will be supporting you in that transition. But just curious, given we had the analyst day earlier this year, can you just talk to whether or not we should expect any changes to those targets, given the fact that we just got those recently? That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Hey, Mike, this is Dave here. First of all, thanks for the question, and I'll take the first part of that question. In terms of the changes we made earlier this year, obviously we're super thrilled to have Mike Berry as our CFO. He has made a huge impact in a very short period of time. His breadth of experience and just domain expertise has just helped us just become a better company. And he's brought in also some new leaders into the organization that are also having a big impact. So I think he's going to be a huge asset to the company and to CJ going forward. We also brought in some other leaders recently and promoted some people. So in terms of the foundation, I think the foundation is strong, but I'll let CJ talk about how he plans to go forward from here.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mike. And I absolutely echo what Dev just said around Mike Berry being the CFO, and I look forward to partnership with Mike and the team as we move forward. Overall, the leadership team is in a great place. We are currently extremely focused on the last quarter. Once I'm in the seat, it's Q4, and we will share more details around the plans on December 1.
Terrific. Thank you, guys. Best of luck.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Ryan McWilliams with Wells Fargo. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks for taking the question. So we've seen the rise of agentic coding this year through tools like Claude Code and Codex. CJ, I'd love to hear about how you think that plays into the future for the Mongo story, whether it's more app development and more accelerated database creation, or the potential to drive further app modernization and new workloads onto the cloud. Thanks.
Let me try and just take first give some comments, and then I'll have CJ add as much color as he wants to. I think it's important to understand through every platform shift, the cost of building applications came down. And so what that created was an explosion of apps. We saw that from the mainframe to client server to internet mobile, and then from internet mobile to the cloud. Almost every meaningful company expresses their business strategy through software. And now we're in the era of AI, the cost of building applications is going to come down even further, which means that there's going to be more software, more use cases where that software can be used, because now you can blend the physical and the digital world with AI. And then you can address use cases that require reasoning that we can never really programmatically inculcate that into software before. I think you're just going to see an explosion of software. So to me, AI is going to be a big tailwind for our business, because the more software there is, the more databases you need. And so I think just at a macro level, this is just going to be a big tailwind. And then to what was said earlier, I think architecturally we're well positioned for the AI era just by being a native JSON database. LLMs emit and consume JSON. MCP is built on JSON. JSON is well designed to handle the complicated messiness and constantly evolving nature of data in the modern world. And so given all those ingredients and being built on a distributed platform, I think we're well set up. I don't know if CJ just want to add more color.
I think, Dave, obviously you articulated this perfectly. And from my perspective, there is a role that Mongo plays, whether you create an agentic workload or whether you re-platform your database to take advantage of brand new agents or just agents talking to other databases. So I think Mongo is perfectly suited for this transition. This transition, like we saw with cloud, started about 2007, 2008, and it's still going. So this AI transition will be going on for 10, 15 plus years. That's what happens in every transition. And we will make sure that we listen to our customers, we listen to our developers on what we can do and the role they want Mongo to play, so that we are at the heart of that architecture for AI workloads.
Appreciate the color. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Madeline Brooks with Bank of America. Your line is open.
Hey, this is Madeline on for Brad at Bank of America. Thank you so much for taking my question. CJ, question for you. You've had just an incredible career playbook of really transforming deep tech companies into enterprise scale. And I'm just wondering, for the current sales motion or channel strategy, what do you think needs the most leverage from both the product, combining that product and marketing messaging that you've historically done so well? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your question. I think, Dave has shared penetration in Fortune 100, 70+%, penetration of 70% in Fortune 500. Similar numbers when you look at Global 2000 on decent penetration. My perspective is, though, there is still a lot more potential in those existing customers for the workloads to take advantage of Mongo. That is a massive opportunity to work with these customers. Developers already love us, and we have great communities that are being built all over the world. But in these large enterprises, which I definitely consider a strength of mine, working with these large enterprises and being focused on them, there is still so much potential as we think of Fortune 100, Fortune 500, and Global 2000 on how they can leverage Mongo to be the standard for workloads of the future and today.
Yeah, if I can just add, we talked about how we're moving up market and putting more resources up market. When I started spending time with CJ and started comparing notes on customers, CJ almost finished my sentences about the people we knew and the common contacts. I mean, CJ has clearly been a very customer-obsessed leader. He spends a lot of time with customers. In fact, he has far more contacts in the C-suite of the Fortune 500 than I ever did, just as a virtue of ServiceNow and Cloudflare being more top-down selling. And so I think his connections and his customer obsession is really going to help us do exactly what he just said, is expand the wallet share of MongoDB in those large accounts.
Thank you so much, and good luck and congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand by for our next question. Our next question comes from the line of Miller Jump with Truist Securities. Your line is open.
Hey, great. Thank you so much for taking the question, and congrats to both of you, CJ, on the opportunity and Dave on the next steps in your journey. Relational migration is an opportunity we've heard about for some time now from MongoDB. CJ, earlier you mentioned ServiceNow's database transition and kind of having that SQL structure they were looking to support through it. How do you think about the opportunity to convince customers to migrate previously legacy relational apps to MongoDB? And how does the need for that shift change in the current environment with all the AI innovation? Thanks.
Miller, thank you for the question. What I really think is, having started the career in the database industry and for a database technology, what I would say is, from my perspective, databases are very, very sticky. Okay? They are very, very sticky, and people use them for a very long time unless they have to change. I think both cloud as well as the AI transition truly are the inflection points, that drove Mongo's growth in a significant way when the cloud transition happened and Mongo captured that opportunity in 2017 with Atlas that was just starting out. And similarly, when you want to leverage AI, you figure out what is the strength of this foundational model X, Y, and Z that you may be using across cloud A or B. And then you say, okay, how much of this is going to be structured data, unstructured data? Do I still need to maintain my stored procedures, or I really need to scale this workload for a rapidly changing business environment? That is exactly when you'll say, it is time for me to revisit my database decision. Because even the lot of shifts to the cloud for existing workloads were mainly lift and shifts. People were just trying to move to the hyperscalers, and very few customers re-architected the application. AI forces them now to really think. I was just speaking to a customer a few weeks ago, and they are revisiting 30% of their workloads for AI-driven innovation, and they want to re-architect. So I think the re-architecture is happening right now, and it is our job as MongoDB to ensure that customers understand the why and how Mongo is ideally suited for those applications.
All right. Exciting times. Thanks again.
Thank you. Please stand by for our next question. Our next question comes from the line of Siti Panigrahi with Mizuho. Your line is open.
Good to hear you there.
Siti? One moment. Our next question comes from the line of Siti Panagraph with Mizuho. Yeah, are you there?
Great. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Dave, congratulations on a successful tenure, and CJ, congrats on your new role. You talked about some of the opportunity there, and CJ, based on your due diligence and also working in an operating role, how are you thinking about balancing the growth and profitability given the opportunity ahead?
I would say there is a tremendous opportunity, and Mike Berry, our CFO, did a wonderful job at Investor Day on saying it is absolutely our goal to get to a Rule of 40. We had that at Cloudflare and continue to deliver on that. So growth being durable but also profitable is extremely important, and that's the foundation Dave and the team have laid that Mike announced at the Investor Day in September, and our plan is to continue to do that we want this company to grow durably for a very long time to come while being profitable on our path to $5 billion+.
That's great. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Please stand by for our next question. Our next question comes from the line of Sanjit Singh with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Thank you for taking the questions. Congrats, Dave, and congrats to CJ. One of the things that Mongo has been innovating on is not just on the product side of the equation, but also on the go-to-market side. They've been in the leaders in terms of software companies pushing into consumption-based sales. And CJ, I just want to get your perspective on the go-to-market side. You've come with an excellent product operational background. As you think about what will need to drive success in terms of sales in the AI era, I'd love to get your initial thoughts there.
Absolutely. You are correct that Mongo did nail that transition also really well on consumption-driven model so that as customers not only expand their existing workload, but new workloads and use consumption as in pay as you use it. This needs to be continued because with AI workloads or cloud workloads, whatever they are, could be a billing application, could be a CRM application, whatever the application that is being built on Mongo, we just want to continue to build on that solid foundation from my perspective. So it was learning for me just to understand. And even at Cloudflare, we switched to consumption model for certain class of products, and I understand that well. So, Dave, do you want to share?
Yeah, no, Sanjit, first of all, thank you. It's been great working with you all these years. I'm obviously very proud about how we've evolved our go-to-market model. I do believe that as we move, as we talked about, we're moving up market and moving more of our dedicated sellers up market because there's so much opportunity there. We're also going to continue to innovate on how we acquire customers through our PLG motion. So that's an area that I think we'll continue to focus on because that's a way to not only effectively acquire new customers, but also acquire some of those early AI native customers who ultimately can become very big customers of their own. And so I think you're going to see that we also leverage our partner channel to extend our reach in places that are just, couldn't really either help accelerate our growth or extend our reach in places that we just couldn't deploy dedicated resources. I know CJ and I have already talked about certain parts of the world where we should be investing more, and I think CJ will be looking at all those opportunities very, very carefully. So I think there's lots of opportunity in front of us, and the good news is that I know CJ will push as hard as possible to grow the business.
Operator, we have time for one more question.
Thank you. Our final question comes from the line of Rudy Kinsinger with D.A. Davidson. Your line is open.
Hey, great. Thanks for squeezing me in here, guys. Dave, congrats. Certainly a phenomenal run here at Mongo and wishing you the best on the next chapter. CJ, welcome. Glad to have you on board here. CJ, my question is for you. I guess, if we think about AI workloads, certainly the adoption of AI workloads, the rollout of AI workloads, I think is taking much longer to materialize than many of us on this call maybe hoped for several years ago. Is there anything Mongo can do, in your view, to maybe pull forward the demand for AI workloads and adoption, or is it really just something that where you're going to have to wait for the market to kind of come to you?
I definitely still believe when I speak to large or very large customers, whether you look at Fortune companies or even digital natives, most of the early AI applications are very employee-facing, productivity-based, and very departmental. Nobody has so far outside of AI native companies created an amazing agentic application that is customer-facing or a partner-facing or matters to their core business or accelerates their core business. So I think it is just going to take time. There are, of course, what I learned at Cloudflare, there are also quite a bit of security concerns on what can happen if you have agents that are take credit card payments, et cetera, and I can go in details. But that's basically the journey that we have to go through, like the cloud journey that we all went through, where it just takes time. People will start with 1 agent, 2 agents, 3 agents. And what Mongo can do is make sure that we are on top of mind for all those developers. We continue to show our advantages of how flexible, scale-out architecture that can truly scale really will matter to them as they build this new AI applications. And I think just constant, I wouldn't call it as far as re-education, but constant education on strengths of Mongo's architecture is what would help us as you see truly scalable, customer-facing agents that are being built by these enterprises.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to turn the call back over to Jess for closing remarks.
Thank you, operator. As previously noted, we plan to report our finalized third quarter fiscal 2026 results on December 1st, 2025. Following our results, we plan to participate in the UBS Technology Conference on December 3rd, the NASDAQ London Conference on December 9th, the Barclays Technology Conference on December 11th, and the Needham Growth Conference on January 13th. CJ plans to participate in all these events and looks forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you for your participation. You may now disconnect.